Faith has to be progressive. You have to see yourself growing in your spiritual life. Whoever belongs to a Christian community, to a church, has to undergo a growth in their faith. And this faith grows from not knowing, from doubting, from skepticism, to being sure, to naming what you want to believe in. And that is why we are saying faith has to be progressive. It has to grow gradually from one phase to another phase, from one stage to another stage. But if one's faith is static, then one has to question their belonging to that Christian community. Even the disciples themselves, they were not just following Jesus because he called them to follow him. There was also some kind of growth that they wished they could go through, and that happened to them. He got them from ordinary life. Some were fishermen, others were tax collectors. God knows what others were doing. So he got them from that ordinary life, and he started schooling them. He started teaching them, forming them into what he thought they could be tools, effective tools for the mission. And they became exactly that, because they disposed themselves to the process. They made themselves available to go through the process of growth. And for you to undergo this progression of faith, it means that you have to dispose yourself to the process. Maybe you can ask yourself, have I been undergoing this progression of faith? Today we talk about progression of faith because in today's gospel, we meet this person. This man, first of all, he has the desire to be healed. But then there are impediments. So he's not able to go into that pool of healing. He's not able to go there. There's an impediment. But the desire is there. That is the first thing. The desire of growth is there. And then he meets this man who tells him, pick up your pallet and walk. He does that and is healed. So the Jews are asking him, but what happened to you? This man who is now healed doesn't even know who told him that he has to take up that pallet and walk. He can't say it is Jesus. He doesn't. He just says, a man told me to take up the pallet and I walked. So who is this man? He says, I don't know. And then later, this man meets Jesus in the temple. Is it Jesus who meets this man in the temple? Why does this man go to the temple? Because there's something that he has recognized about what is happening in his spiritual growth, in his life. He's not distancing himself from the temple. In other words, he is not distancing himself from the community of believers. He goes to join the community of believers because he knows that that is the only place where he can have his faith consolidated. So he goes to the temple and Jesus meets him there. And immediately there is an introduction and he knows, so it was not just a man, it was Jesus. And this is what he later tells the Jews, that actually it was Jesus who told me, take up your pallet and walk. And so I'm healed. So the point here is the progression of faith that this man undergoes from, first of all, the desire to be healed, to meeting this man whom he doesn't even know. He doesn't even bother to ask, but who are you? Where are you coming from? How do you just tell me to take up the pallet and walk? That is not important for him. What is important is that he undergoes that process and he gets his healing. It is only later that he comes to realize that actually this encounter was animated and made possible by Christ. This healing was made possible by Christ. You can put yourself in the shoes of this man, this person. Maybe you might not have the physical infirmity. You might have a spiritual infirmity, a spiritual impediment. You might be struggling with something in your life, and you wish God could show himself in your life and say something about whatever you're going through. You could be trying to do a lot of things in order to develop yourself, in order to improve your life, but then there are impediments. Just like this person that is not able to walk to the pool so that he gets his healing. He is impeded, he's not able to walk. It is only when he meets Jesus that his life changes. When he meets Jesus, the story is not the same anymore. Because now he's even able to walk, Actually, not just walk, but pick up things, the pallet and whatever else he picked up. To walk, even is even able to go to the temple, to walk to the temple. Maybe before they were just taking him there. But all that happens after the encounter with Jesus. Before that encounter, there's a struggle. You and I could have our own struggle before we encounter the healing Jesus. Think of those that are looking for employment. You have the papers, went to school, but then you're not able to get that employment. Maybe you got some money, even in Pankongole, in order to invest that money in some business, but then it went down and it left you in Nkongole. And you're constantly, thinking, how am I going to get out of this? People get depressing. By the way, avoid Nkongole by all means, please. Nkongole is not nice. Unless otherwise, but if you can, please avoid Nkongole. Not nice. People are committing suicide out there because of Nkongole. You find yourself in a situation where you have to Kongola in order to service that in Nkongole. You have Kongola'd here. Fine, you have service that in Nkongole, but this one will also start pursuing you. So you'll have to go and Kongola again somewhere in order to service this one. So your whole life will just become a life of Nkongole. What a life. So if you are able to avoid Nkongole, it's better to avoid, especially the young civil servants, those that are just getting employed, teachers, nurses, and other. The first thing they want to do is to go and get a loan. Because now I have a salary, so I can even get a loan. So, before this person meets Jesus, there's a struggle. It's the struggle that anybody can go through. But after that encounter, the whole struggle ends because this person is even now able to walk by himself. Our prayer today that you and I will have our own special encounter with the healing Jesus, so that struggle can end. That struggle can be a thing of the past. And indeed, you cannot meet Jesus and remain just the same person. Something has to happen. Something has to change about your life, because that encounter comes to cement your faith. It comes to drive out the doubt that you had before. Sometimes the struggles can make you doubt even the existence of God. But when you have your special encounter, all that is taken care of.